What is Dark Interval? Dark Interval is a restoration/revision mod that allows players to play Half-Life 2 as it could have been. Using Valve's early concepts, the mod team has created new maps, models, textures, and custom dialogue. What is meant when I say as it could have been? What is referred to here is the Half-Life 2 beta. Half-Life 2 underwent significant development changes between its initial beta version and its final release. The beta version of the game contained various elements, levels, and features that were altered, removed, or refined before the game's official launch. The beta version of Half-Life 2 was much more dark in design and atmosphere, more inspired by movies like 1984 or Dark City. It was gritty and dystopian. It included new enemy types like the Cremator, or the Combined Super Soldier, Combined Synth Soldier, and many others. Humans in the release and in the beta version are slaves at the mercy of the Combine overlords. They are forced to work for their benefit, them, and in the beta also their children. See, in the release version there are no children. It is explained by the Combine suppression field that made people infertile. Also in the beta, the humans were dressed in hazmat suits because of the toxic pollution around them. The world was actively drained of any resource, and the future was very bleak, unpromising, and unforgiving in the world that Valve was crafting for the original Half-Life 2. The release of Half-Life 2 was much more bright and sunny than the beta. The oppression was harsh, but it wasn't as dystopian as the beta version. The environment was no longer a North American metropolis, but a European city. The tone, the characters, and the guns, and also the enemies, everything was very different in the release version. And to this day, people want to see the old, dark, and gritty story of the original Half-Life 2 beta version. So this is where I want to talk about Dark Interval. The aim of Dark Interval is not to replicate 100% of how the beta was originally viewed, but to combine both the beta and the release aesthetics and designs and the ideas and the maps into a new vision of the game. And I must say, the mod does an amazing job at what it aims to do. In this video I want to talk to you about the aesthetic differences and the key changes between the Half-Life 2 release version and the Dark Interval rendition. We start off with a prologue chapter. There is no similar chapter to it in the release of Half-Life 2. We float around in a boat in a dreamlike landscape. Seeing a shipwreck, advancing into it, we see a cryopod and a flash to white. We wake up from the cryosleep in the vessel. We walk around and see sparks flying everywhere, headcrabs roaming about, and zombies. We also encounter visions of the past or the future, it is unknown yet. In these visions, the vessel is covered with snow and ice, just like the dream state we've seen before. We also meet the crewman of the ship. He helps us to avoid the Combine guards and come into the cockpit.
Get ration too, or do you get stuff for free? Military privilege, huh?
Security must immediately.
Oh yeah, sorry. Going. Damn those rations.
We encounter a beautifully haunting view of the coast of City 17 at night. The mod has an incredibly strong art direction and a design that stays consistent throughout the chapters. Upon arriving to City 17's dock, The scale of the location hits you. You feel small, like an ant. At the dock, we can appreciate how grand and big this location is. We see the Combine patrolling the area, while cremators exterminate headcrabs. All while the Citadel is looming over everything. Everything is made with purpose. Everything is made in a way to be realistic, but at the same time more exaggerated in scale. And it works wonders for the atmosphere. Every place and location is cohesive. There are no jarring and weird stuff that feels out of place. The art direction of the locations feels extremely professional. The aesthetics are a mix of the release and the beta. Most of the Combine tech and Metrocops are kept the same, with some additions to their uniforms that are inspired by the beta. After meeting Barney in the dock, he leads us into an industrial zone of City 17 that is very reminiscent of the beta design of the area. It is grimy, dark and polluted, and we find there a Vortigant that is used as a power source. After releasing him, we must release another one in the sewers. One remark that I can do is that the voice acting is not great. I'm sure it will be fixed, it will be remade, but it's very muddy, to say the least.
You shattered our shackles, put an end to that emptiness. We must repay for your kindness. We shall open the passage for you.
But it's not something to hold against a passion project. On our way we encounter a factory brewing with work in heat and unsafe working conditions. We can see below a rupture in the earth, leading as it seems to the core of the earth itself. Eventually going through the underground tunnels, we release the Vortigant from the pod and make our way back to his brother. On our way we encounter a pool of dead Vortigants. Through this brief scene we get an idea of how harshly the Vortigants have been treated by the Combine. They're essentially no more than just batteries for them. We pass a deceased cremator and get to pick up his flamethrower, a cut weapon from the beta that has not been seen in the release version of the game. Moving through sewers that are infested with Zen fauna and headcrabs. We arrive at a makeshift elevator. The sewer location was designed well, with the Zen fauna and plants growing all over the place, making it a little less drab. Also, the Zen fauna here is not only for aesthetic reasons. Sometimes it blocks her path. That's where the mod introduces the mechanic of burning those veins with the flamethrower we got. The section had good pacing in my opinion, wasn't too long or short, and was nice to play overall. Finally, we arrive up top to the first Vortigant that we saved. As we help the Vortigants, so they help us, and they let us progress to City 17 itself. City 17 is completely reworked and feels much more monumental, dark, oppressing and dystopian, with broken down civilians sitting in the terminal cafe that is now an accessible building. In the release version it was inaccessible. And a new hotel building with strong Art Deco design. Within the hotel we see civilians discussing the recent power outage that we caused. Outside, Metrocops guarding the place. We can also see the train station that we arrived in the released version of the game. The station is much different, with Art Deco architecture now. At the center of every location, you can see the Citadel. It is standing there, menacingly, with projector lights and drones flying around it, ever vigilant of every move of everyone within its sight, imposing the might of the Combine overlords, never out of sight, always a reminder of a great defeat for the people, a reminder that resistance is futile. The mod rides a thin line between dark and beautiful successfully. Never feels too depressing. It's just enough to be dark and interesting and not drab. The aesthetics are a mix of both the European city from the release version and the North American city from the beta version of the game. Moving on with the guidance of Barney, we make our way to the Manhack Arcade, a cut location from the beta, located in the end of the business and commercial district, between the City 17 train station and Kleiner's lab. It was to be visited during the first chapters of the game. There, citizens would be seen playing video games centered around piloting manhacks and tracking fleeing humans, unaware of the fact that the manhacks they were controlling were actually killing fugitive citizens in real life. On our way to the arcade, we move through a dingy and rainy construction site, encountering a worker that is attacked by zombies. After rescuing him, he guides us through the site. He tells us that his crew was trying to open one of the Combine canisters. A foolish endeavor. They didn't know that those canisters store headcrabs. That's how all the crew members got infected. We killed the remaining ones and continued to the downtown area with the help of the last survivor. It's a very small location, there is not much to it. Construction site, rain, and zombies. That's about it. The downtown area is a location truly to marvel at. It's monumental, moody, rainy, and sinister, with a big statue of Breen in the middle. As most locations, it is done superbly. There's nothing that sticks out. There's nothing that doesn't make sense. Everything is monumental. It's big, it's imposing, the might of the combat. At the statue of Breen, there's a split. We can walk around a bit and just explore the area. After marveling, we go through an apartment complex. We move through dirty and grimy rooms, encountering visions, broken citizens, and eventually we exit the back alley. We're still on our way to the arcade. We go through the back alley and residential area, witnessing Combine persecution in one of the buildings. In the main road we encounter a sort of parade, a show of force of the Combine, with many new end-cut units from the beta. We see reskinned soldiers and what it seems to be at first hazmat units. After looking into it a bit, those are the elite units. This parade happens right in front of the crown jewel of the location, the arcade, unmissable, glowing in bright yellow. Entering the arcade, we can see the design of the arcade in the inside is more colorful than any place we have seen yet. The design from inside is strange and alien. Everything is made out of this Combine glass. Moving through the arcade, we have a chance to play the Manhack minigame ourselves. I haven't because I know it to be seizure-inducing. Here in the arcade, we meet Barney once again. And through the tunnel, reach our next destination. Arriving at what it seems to be an abandoned area, we see new structures not seen in the release. The sky no longer black, but light grey. We go to what it seems to be a communications building. We head inside the comms building and reach sewers once again. These sewers are massive in scale. There's fugitive civilians hiding inside. Going through the sewers we fight against normal enemies like headcrabs, but here we also have stalkers and a sort of a flying synth drone. They seem to be used as pest exterminators here. Passing through the sewers, we reach Kleiner's lab. The lab here is much different than the one in the released version. At the lab, Kleiner has no more pet headcrab, and there is no more Alex here. It's just Kleiner and Barney. It's here where we get our suit. The suit is not in a protective chamber now, but instead covered with old blankets. It's a great touch that adds more character to the lab itself. Upon wearing the Mark V suit, the voice of the suit glitches out.
Welcome to the HEV Mark V. Protective. For hazardous and
I'm sorry. I'm afraid it will never be as new.
Showing that its pristine condition was left long ago in the Black Mesa facility. This detail is non-existent in the release version. We're guided to the teleporter location, which is heavily inspired by the beta concept art. The one seen here and the one in the released version are worlds apart. We go through the teleport and it fails just as it did in the released version. And for now, this is it. We can only wait patiently for more in the future. All in all, so far Dark Interval was more about the journey and locations and less about shooting enemies. A thing that might be different in the next chapters. The beta and the release have completely different pacing. The style and the direction they took are visually amazing and in my opinion better than the release version. With this I end the video, goodbye.